All right, traders, welcome to today's recap. This is Christian from Hertz Tribeca Trade Group, and it is Friday, January 3rd. So, back to the end of day videos. I was away for a bit, so I am back. All systems go, as I was saying last night. So let's go ahead and dig into today's events and so forth. But great to be back. Thank you for your patience. If you're a member and you didn't get everything that you had this week, well, we're back full force. So let's dig into today. So yeah, global tensions provide well-needed pause. That's my takeaway for the day. Of course, risk disclaimer before I get into anything. Everything that we're going over is for information purposes only, not giving out any recommendations or advice. So yeah, that's my theme of the day. I know if you turn on financial media, they're going to tell you how scary things are, and they probably talked about crude. I saw like crude and energy stocks just over and over and over. Meanwhile, look at what energy stocks did today. As I'm kind of just starting here, energy stocks finished down on the day. So, I thought this was a really good. Who said this on CNBC? I think it was. Scott Wapner, the judge, he was saying, if energy stocks can't go up on global tensions with Iran, I don't know what can make these things go up. So I've gone back and forth about, adding a little bit of, whether or not to add a little bit of energy in the portfolio. I've done that a little bit here and there. Right now the only thing I have on is RIG, as well as IGE, which is in the tactical stock portfolio that I manage. But where did RIG close today? 704. I'm up a little bit in this trade, but clearly, just to see these names, and the option activity continue in these names. BP had some big calls in it. PAGP was another name. I'm missing one other name too. It starts with a T, but it was a roll. But the option activity continues in this stuff, and if you're kind of sitting on the sidelines, I don't think most of it has really worked well. And I agree with again, I agree with Scott Wapner. I don't know what makes these things go up. If they can't go up on a global tension, I don't know what's going to make these things go up. Another thing, if you look at commodities too, even with all that going on, USO, which is does a poor job at tracking crude, but it's in my spreadsheet. Not even up that much. For as much as they talked about crude going up today in the financial media, look at palladium and platinum. Why not spend more focus there? Up over twice as much, just about twice as much as crude for the week. So. It kind of tells you a little bit. Now, I'm not going to read into, of course, the events that happened, last night and the threats going back and forth between the U.S. and Iran. But, certainly we saw defense stocks move up. I was holding on to LHX, which I was able to get out of today for a nice winner. It was actually marking down option position going into today, so nice winner. But you could see what happened with the defense stocks. This name in particular, closed right around the highs of the day. If you go through LMT, another strong one. So these names were on the move today and closed. RTN looked like it was trying to go before this anyway. They looked like they were setting up going into this, and that's why I kind of picked. I had to kind of make a decision which one I wanted to add, and I chose LHX L3 Harris Technologies, which was a really good play about a year ago, but hasn't done much. Another one is the drone maker KTOS. So these kind of you looked at these stocks and you're like, okay, this kind of shows that you've got global tensions heating up in defense stocks. Did rally quite a bit. I mean, this thing is just back above the 200-day moving average, even though it was up, huge today, up $2, up 10. So there is a VPOC up there at 22.21. So that would be something I would watch. I think overall, just as we said in the pre-market session, I don't think a lot of people really want to have hold on to a lot of risk, going into when you've got global tensions, when that happens on a Thursday night, Friday, going to the weekend. That doesn't mean that stocks go down next week. It just means people are not really comfortable, including myself, holding a lot of risk over a weekend when something like that happens. People would rather just wait and see. And especially if you go back to the S&P at this point, up this much, I think a lot of people including myself too, would welcome like a little bit of a reset, right? I know everybody keeps tweeting out the fear and greed index over 90, so it's a little bit of people, I think, looking at these markets and saying how they've really gone up a lot. So I think this would be an excuse for kind of to reset a little bit, for the markets to come in a little bit. I did kind of, most of that. What I did today was, besides the first hour of trading, was towards the end of the day, just kind of taking off some little positions I had in some names that, some worked, some were working, some weren't. And then I also rebalanced our the tactical portfolio, and took out a little bit of material and small cap exposure, and went into some other things. You have to be a member to see that portfolio, so I won't go over it here. But I sent out a whole video on the changes that we make, and I try to do that whenever we do like a decent rebalance. But that portfolio is working really well. So I've been doing those rebalances basically every like week and a half, and that's helped a lot, taking out some of the losers, or just names that are not performing that well. Everything I took out today was a winner. Uh, most of, I think the two or three names were up around like 5-6%. But since I added them, but taking out the names that aren't performing as well, and putting on some winners, I think really helps. So I will talk about the call activity today in energy. The biggest trade I saw was this BP March 40 calls. We could go ahead and look at the chart. I mean, again, way underneath the 200-day moving average, very close to a VPOC. I just think there's better things. I know some people, like, I look at this and I see nasty. Some people look at this and they're like, oh, buying opportunity, it's down. I don't. I'm a trend trader, so I like nice, healthy trends. I like stocks like this. Right? Coupa Software breaking out to a 52-week high today out of consolidation. This to me is like, this jumps off the page. Again, it doesn't mean it's going to work, but you look at this name that's been in a huge, healthy uptrend, right? There's a reason why it goes up, and on the other side with energy stocks, there's a reason why they're down, right? To me, they're not buying opportunities unless this global tensions really escalate. Coupa Software. So the thing that I like about this is look at the consolidation since the summertime, right? Hit a 52-week high back in October, and just back out to there. So I like consolidation in uptrends. That's gets me really, excited about something today. Also, I didn't really go. I went right into the option activity. Some CRWD. The cyber names also, CRWD. This did not trigger for me, even though it was up 2.6%. It's got to get above value. So I've got an alert set. It does look like it's trying to base and maybe come out of here, but I would rather be a little bit late and wait for this thing to get out of value. Again, that's my rules. I usually wait until we get confirmation of a name moving higher, before it actually does. And I think there's other names in the space that look pretty good. I traded, it was what we talked about in the pre-market session, things that would be less sensitive, like China internet names, which got going the other day. They did perform pretty well, but names like Okta at the 200-day moving average, to me looks pretty good. Where did Cyber end up for the day? Cyber closed on the highs today, up 1.7%, back above the 200. So I think this group could have some legs to it. And if you look, this was the best performer. So I like when we, set these things up in the pre-market session or right after the open, and talk about where we could see some momentum for the day. Interesting today, market breadth. It got really decent around lunchtime, and then kind of trailed off throughout the session, which I think has to do with the weekend. But you could see, one name advanced out of the Dow, 28 decliners. So breadth was pretty negative overall. And you could see, Q's finished down 90 basis points, S&P down 75. Again, they rallied off the open. They rallied off the session low. I shouldn't say session low, pre-market low. By the way, look at the 5 minute on this in the S&P. Again, a full testament to the value areas and how they work. But look at this 5 minute on the S&P. See these VPOCs being taken out here? There's one here. There should be another one taken out as well. So let me go to the right. Yep, there it is. All the way back here, down to a T. Notice I'm on a new version, and the VPOCs are now grayed out. I can actually change the color on that just so that they're a little bit easier. But look at that, to a T. This took this out. So all in all, we did get all the way back in value. So it gave you, as I had said again pre-market, I said you've got. It gave us a little bit of a tradable bounce this morning for some day trades. And I mentioned as well. I kind of lined it up saying, "Hey, I didn't think we were going to get a huge rally today because I don't think people really want to be super long going into a weekend when this stuff just came out last night." So I think that worked very well from what we went over in the pre-market session. Chinese internet, some of them got going a little bit. I went and purchased the KWeb ETF pre-market. Right around $50, or excuse me, 51. It did trail off at the end of the day, so I didn't have a big winner with that one. But if you look at this, right, just an inside day, you got a lot of things going on here. And another trade, I didn't get a chance to really talk about this today, but if you look at the relationship between China internets and US internets, so let's go KWeb, put that in the numerator, if I can find my. Here it is. Put the Chinese internets in the numerator and US internets, which is the FDN ETF. Take a look at this chart. So it's one way. Like if you don't really feel that if this market is not giving you like a warm and fuzzy feeling, you could do a pair trade, right? So you basically long one thing and short the other, and you try to earn the alpha between that, and hopefully that generates alpha. But you could go long the Chinese internets and short the U.S. internets. I think that chart looks lovely right now. So again, that's one way to mitigate the risk a little bit. So I think that looks pretty good. KWeb, I will tell you, I recently put on a position for this one as well. So I think that looks pretty interesting. What next was I going to talk about? The guy I already. So these were the best performers. Hack, the cyber ETF. But this, the breadth was better around 12, 1 o'clock. So this tailed off a little bit. You could see, I mean, look at the XOP still finished up for the day. But, if you came in looking to buy energy stocks today, I don't think that was the right thing to do. I mentioned Coupa Software. Look at all the software plays. Again, why did these software plays go crazy today? It just seems like they work they worked really well when there was a trade war. And I guess with global tensions heating up, they're hiding places, right? People take their money out of some things, and they go into some other names. Twilio was a nice trade as well that I had on. I had a limited risk reversal where I was short a put spread, long a call. I took that off for really nice profits. Shopify held up pretty well. Also, this AYX looks like it is trying to come out of value as well. So that doesn't look like a bad chart. And notice it just closed above value. So pretty good there. And then I just wanted to go over. So I think, again, while this is in the headlines, the sophomore names may continue to kind of carry a little bit. MDB was another name that performed pretty well for the day. But again, look at this, up 4 points, just around 4% for the day. I just wanted to go over the performance for the week because we did have 5 days. I think it was interesting that if you look at the performance over the 5 days, S&P actually finished down a tick, down for the week, 0.1%. Small caps even worse. Small caps actually should be in red here. Let's go ahead and put that in red. And you could see bonds, which were basically bid all day today, finished up 1.5%. Really some decent price action in TLT all week long. Up, down. Finished up 1.4% for the week. Gold also up 2.4%. For the week, what performed best? No surprise there. Defense and aerospace off of today and where they closed yesterday. Chinese internets were the best. The worst was biotech and materials, down 2.7%. Interesting, this XLB was just about to break out and came in pretty hard. So kind of tells you a little bit about that trade. IBB, we'll see where this falls into, but notice that. I mean, how about that virgin point of control being taken out? Again, that's why I have these on my charts. Really, really important. Price always has a memory to it. So this was the last VPOC. Again, I'm not drawing these things in manually. This is, from our system. And we're having, by the way, if you're a member, we will have a webinar. I haven't decided what day it's going to be, Tuesday or Wednesday. We're going to be talking about value areas. We have a new release. You could see that we've kind of made some enhancements with this. We've got what's known as these Venom pivots, which act really well. But man, oh man, look at that VPOC taken out, and that's a great place. I think there was one also taken out in XBI, which was, I thought there was another one up here. Let's just wait until this settles in. Pretty close. Yeah, there's the one right there. So again, virgin point of control, if you're not familiar, it's when price does not pass through a value area at all. Not a value area, but the point of control. So that becomes a virgin point of control. Right now it's not showing that it's there, but you can see pretty close. So again, really becomes significant. And then just finally, so those were the underperformers. So yeah, energy down 2.5%. I cannot believe that XLE finished down 2.5% for the week, but it is what it is. The industrials also outperformed. Solar names outperformed. On the international side, just like I said, I think the week before in the member video, kind of a mixed bag. Again, ASHR, which saw a lot of calls over the last week and a half, was up 3.1%. Hong Kong stocks also up. Again, a lot of that off of the 50 basis point reserve ratio cut that really kind of ignited the group. But not much else really going on. I don't know why Nigeria was up 3.8%. But if you look to the downside, you got a lot of names that were down over 1%. So again, kind of a mixed bag in international. Hence the EEM ETF being up just one tick, 0.1%. And EFA International Developed was actually down for the last 5 days. All right, guys, so we'll leave it there. This is going to be a nice reset going into this weekend. We'll really kind of go through and take a look at what's trending up, what's trending down. I'm actually excited to do some research, and then the other thing that we'll start next week too. Just like we've got that tactical portfolio, which again you could see through Motif Investing, and you could follow along. We're going to be starting an ETF portfolio as well this year, rather than single stocks. So. That should be exciting. I have not started that. I wanted to go through as I normally do my homework over the weekend, and then kind of find the trends there and find out what names. But I've already got a good idea on what we're going to start with. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great night, and have a great weekend.